I want to talk about the Bianca plot, which gets short shrift sometimes in discussion of Taming the Shrew because it seems too conventional. The downside is it is conventional. It seems like a very standard Shakespeare comedy plot. We've got the young lady with the multiple suitors and the father who's blocking their suits, and they go to various subterfuges, disguises, tricks, etc., to make the marriage happen. And the young lady gets who she wants. The good side of it is it's super conventional, and we're only 2 units into this course. It is almost a model of what a standard kind of comedy romance plot is in this period. In fact, this plot could be a play all by itself, and used to be a play all by itself before Shakespeare just flat out took it. It's an Italian play by Ariosto, the great Ludovico Ariosto, who's better known as an epic poet. His short play, his comedy Aesop's Ziti. Then it's George Gascoigne's English adaptation of Aesop's Ziti, Supposes, and then it's this. Look at some of the main ideas of this play. One of the things that comes up a lot is disguise and cross-dressing, and also the danger that the servant might be a better, more persuasive, more convincing master than the master. You know, the name Cambio, the false name Trinifex, means change. Or the false name Cambio, this means change. Let's switch places. I will be the servant, you will be the master. And actually, Tranio can pull this off quite well. We can find somebody else to play the father that will hold up well enough for long enough. The idea here that social class is mutable. This goes to the heart of what's actually happening in Shakespeare's drama, where the actors are in fact impersonating members of other social classes all the time. That's their job. These guys are actually from the bottom quince and flute class, essentially. They're from the weavers and the bells makers. They're carpenters and grocers and glove makers' sons, etc. And they play King of France sometimes, right? Prince of Denmark, Venetian noblemen, right? Gentlemen from Padua and other parts of northern Italy. There's also the switcheroo of gender, right? This is a play in which all the female characters were originally cross-dressed teenage boys. So there's an idea that all these things are fluid and you can change, and through theatrical means, you can keep that society is a kind of theatrical pretense. That is worth paying attention to. The Bianca plot is heavily based on liberal education at the time. She gets her suitors are disguised as tutors who come to teach her Latin and music, liberal arts that young, educated, noble women, aristocratic women would get. Gentlewomen, not noblewomen, but you get the idea. She's an aristocrat. This is very much a play about education, though I would, and some people actually tend to extend, some people tend to turn that emphasis on the education of Bianca into a larger argument where the Petruchio and Catherine plot is the education of Caterina. Some people, including people who are trying to make a self-described feminist argument, make that argument. I would say I am super uncomfortable with a metaphor for the Catherine and Petruchio plot that's about teaching her a lesson. Teaching a woman a lesson in terms of controlling her behavior strikes me as not a very progressive idea, so I'm not down with that. Another way that people have to salvage people often try to salvage the Petruchio and Catherine relationship at Bianca's expense by making a claim that these are also conformists and they're so awful, and like that Catherine and Petruchio are the non-conformists who are banding together against all these people. I don't know how conformist it is to play these kinds of tricks and hijinks. And there's often a sense that like, oh, Bianca is going to be like, the Bianca and Tranio marriage is doomed, and like like last time I saw it at the Great Lakes, that signal was clearly set that relationship is on the rocks from the beginning. They're going to be unhappy. But there's nothing in the text that says that. I would say I'm going to give you 2 cheers for Bianca. Bianca gets what she wants. She is allowed to pick the boy. She's allowed to choose her husband. There is nothing wrong with that. In fact, in the normal standards of Shakespeare comedy, everything is right with that. Bianca gets what Hermia gets. Bianca gets what Beatrice is going to get. She gets to pick the boy. The most important thing for a young woman in comedy. Amen. She gets what Juliet gets temporarily. You want to see the boy your father picks? Paris. Someone who's worth taking fake poison not to marry, and then taking real poison too not to marry. He's a 2 poisoning, want to get out of this date. Bad things that happen to Verona, to everybody but Petruchio. There's nothing necessarily wrong with the Bianca, and the fact that, like, oh look, she doesn't come when she's called, and this is considered to Bianca's discredit. You might feel that I live in the 21st century, because I do. But in the 21st century, and I think in the 16th century too, there's nothing wrong with not coming like a dog when your husband calls you. She has her own mind. She speaks her own mind. In fact, that last scene shows that Bianca is still getting what she wants. And that is great. Oh, her husband lost a bet on this? And she says, more fool you for betting on me. And yeah, Bianca. So am I going to hold up Bianca as the greatest of all Shakespeare heroines? No. The competition is much too intense. The bar is much too high. And yes, Catherine is more interesting in a lot of ways than Bianca, but Bianca gets what she wants, and she shouldn't be blamed for that.